Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for educations and technology. Today, I like to share with you a topic which is very important if you really want to learn traditional Chinese martial arts or Wing Chun. And the topic today is what went wrong in past 100 years in traditional Chinese martial art, which including Wing Chun. I'm going to share with you an analysis. And if you really want to know what is the reality, you need to know this analysis. And of course, what I present here, many of our traditional Chinese martial artists or Wing Chuners have already known. But majority of the people really don't know about it. That's why I want to bring it up here. Okay, so the reason I bring it up here, the trigger that get me to share this today is this. Yesterday, I shared a video on urgent. We need to clean up the Tai Chi magic stuff from Wing Chun. It is urgent, we need to clean it up. Or else, Xi Xiaodong is going to clean you up and including your entire Wing Chun. Okay? Look at the movement in China. And after that, I still have some Tai Chi guy comment saying that, oh, what you showed us is like our Tai Chi, Peng Jing, rooting power, all this thing. Well, obviously you read that, you know that he have no idea what I am presenting. So when a Tai Chi guy or a Wing Chun guy who study Tai Chi have been brainwashed and living in fantasy, that's what happened. They are blind. They don't see what is, even I show with the sports science device like the ISO chain and the handy gym, where you can measure your strength, your force, and your momentum, and your power, and your speed. So when one is brainwashed by all this Tai Chi stuff, that's how it is, okay? Rooting power, they're talking about rooting power, sinking power. And then there's other friends who show me how a Tai Chi guy using his sinking song or loose power to counter a takedown. And if you look at this, as usual, they just get somebody who have no idea on takedown to demo with them. And the grandmaster will show you, see, if I using this rooting, this song or this sinking, then I can make the takedown people cannot take down. Well, else the guy who do takedown have no idea what is takedown. Same thing is usually you see. Oh, if the using a guy who have no idea on the Western boxing and saying that if he jab me here, I can do a pat here, and then I can do a tan here. Same stuff. The grandmaster have no idea what is the Western boxing. The grandmaster have no idea what is the takedown is. And then everybody have their 5 cents, okay, on this thing works. So that is the reason why I want to share with you here. Enough is enough of this nonsense fantasy, okay? So can I list down the entire thing to share with you on what went wrong in the past 100 years? Yes. It is really clear now. And if we do not watch out for this, you know, traditional Chinese martial art or Wing Chun is going to go down to the tube, like how the Xi Xiaodong tear apart everything in China. So let's go to the bottom line. The traditional Chinese martial art fantasy. Number one fantasy you want to watch out is song, sinking, rooting, and by sinking and rooting you have power. Okay? Sinking and rooting. You stay there, you 站桩, and then you have power, you have energy. That's the first fantasy. So what is the reality? In the MMA and in the real traditional Chinese martial art from General Qi Shi Guang, the real deal talking about momentum. And they differentiate between power and strength. Strength is how much force you can exert. Power is how fast you can exert this force. And in momentum, you talk about dynamic, you talk about uniqueness of that momentum. For example, a Western boxer and a Thai boxer, their momentum have a uniqueness there, and their dynamic is different. And while the fantasy, the Chinese fantasy is talk about, if you have this power of song or rooting, then you can counter the entire world. Or when you have this song and rooting and internal energy, then you can be invincible in this world. Then they continue to do what? Standing there, demonstrating their techniques, such as you want to use this Tan Sao versus this Western boxing jab. Okay, so if the student jab him with a jab, then he just doing a Tan Sao or Pak Sao, whatever. And then say, see, this technique is against this Western boxing. Or when get a guy who have no idea how he's doing takedown, go take down, and you say, you see, if I don't song, I'll be take down. If I song, I sing, then I cannot be take down. All this thing is standing there, having the root, having the song power, and then also you can show some kind of like the Bruce Lee inch punch. You see, I have this power from my mind, from my spine, and all this power. Well, what did they do? They're standing there and doing the demo. Okay? Now, so what is the reality? You look at the MMA or real traditional Chinese martial art of the Qi Shi Guang, they talk about set you up dynamically, technical details on how to handle. For example, you want to do a single leg takedown, you know which joint you want to pick, you know which joint you want to press, and then you know which part of the body you want to push. Takedown is not like those things where, you know, the grandmaster of the internal art show, I can song, I can make you not take down. Because the guy who have take down have no idea what is a takedown, what is the technical details in the takedown. And also, when people do takedown, there's dynamic, there's set up, all kinds of stuff. So you have to see that between the fantasy and the reality. Okay? And then the fantasy guy keeping talking about what? Oh, you see, I can be aggressive because I have this inch power of Wing Chun. I can be aggressive. I walk straight line inside there and those kind of stuff. Well, the MMA, the wrestler, the Muay Thai, the BJJ, all talk about if he come here, if you cannot take it, you want to go the other direction, is playing in the range, angle, and level. While the other guy in the fantasy is just, you know, I have this strong inch power. I just go inside here and punch inside there. And you see, well, of course you're going to use a student or somebody who have no clue of martial arts to doing those demo, and it looks good because as soon as you get aggressive, people are afraid of you. But when you get to look at the MMA guys of our friends in Western boxing, in Muay Thai, in Kyokushin, in BJJ, in everything, while you go aggressive with him, they play with you with the angle, range, and level. Aggressiveness doesn't mean much if you don't have those training. Okay? Also, when it comes to training, so you have to be slow. You have to be loose, soft, so that you can use your mind power, your chi power, using your yi, not your strength. You have to detach your body. While the MMA and our Western boxing and all our friends in the reality doing what? Functional trainings. The entire body functional training, so they be able to play in the range, variations in the angle change and in the level. And you seldom heard about those MMA friends and all this in the reality talk about their grandmaster. While living the fantasy is always that this set I learned is from this grandmaster. In the ancient, he have this power, he can defeat so many people. So, now you can see the fantasy and the reality. How are you going to supposed to face the guy who trained in reality? You might as well change those fantasy stuff as a belief, a religion, and stop calling it martial arts. Because when you keeping giving a fantasy of song, rooting, power, internal energy, standing there to demo your techniques with a guy who have no idea what they are doing, just mimic Western boxing or takedown or whatever, and then standing there to show your power and how you can aggressive towards your student, and then how you train by this slow and the chi. And then talking about how your grandmaster before be able to do what? When you do this kind of stuff, make it call it a religion. You know, today's world, today's MMA player or Western boxer or BJJ and so forth, all this reality martial art, what they do? They train momentum, power, force, dynamic, uniqueness of their momentum. They know if they are doing a Thai boxing, their momentum uniqueness is Thai boxing. If they do a BJJ, their uniqueness is BJJ. They develop the proficiency in there. They learn how to set up for the game and how to change if that setup doesn't work. And then they go through the technical details and they do functional training. So how are you going to have all this 100 years of mess, fantasy, facing the real martial arts? That's why many people, when they talk about it like this challenging by Xi Xiaodong to the traditional Chinese martial art, I say it's hopeless. You can defeat Xi Xiaodong. Why? Because Xi Xiaodong is living in this reality, as I just listed up for you. And the Chinese martial art, most of the people, not everybody, okay, we need to be fair and clear here, most are living that. Now, let me share with you, finally, on this takedown stuff, because everybody deserves to know. 450 years ago, General Qi Ji Guang is doing exactly the same with what we do today in the MMA training and so forth. Momentum, the uniqueness of momentum, the power, the function, the setup, the technical details, the chain if, the functional training. Look at the functional training. Look at, in history, how does the General Qi Ji Guang train his army? Those are functional training. Did he say about Qi standing there? Okay. As for this momentum, setup, technical details, let me share with you one thing. 450 years ago, black and white. This is the General Qi Ji Guang book. This last one is called Banner and Drum Momentum. And this is writing all the technical stuff, okay? Which cover the momentum, the setup, the technical details, and the change is here. So in this thing, the banner and drum momentum, you see like that, okay? So I share with you. Banner, a drum, is like that, right? So what is this? If you read all this thing, it is a single leg takedown. Okay? So the banner and drum, one way of using it is you attack him, push him far. So the guy is moving forward because you attack it in his top body, okay? You attack him, okay, with the momentum push in. Now, when the guy is lean backward, try to avoid it or try to turn, guess what? Going down with this hand, pick at his ankle. This hand, press here, and then using the shoulder to crush into him or push into him. So you pick, you have press, and you have crush. And this is how it is. And it will change if it doesn't work this way, as we mentioned. So all of this in General Qi Ji Guang book, all of this with the writing is always the techniques and the change. Now, if anybody really grandmaster and study this real traditional Chinese martial art, one will not do a really foolish or idiotic demo like you get a guy who try to pick up your leg. Because even the Chinese in 450 years ago, they're going to set me up. They're going to come with this angle, not sitting down there picking my leg and see how I can have a song power or sinking power. He's going to get into here, pick my leg, my ankle, lock this thing and push me. While already I've been set up to go backward, dynamically. Okay? So there's 450 years ago. That's why I make a comment with the people in traditional Chinese martial art. I always say that, you know what? Xi Xiaodong in China is actually practiced the teaching of General Qi Guang. What the rest of the people is who he fought is practicing fantasy. That's not even Chinese. Those are movies. Okay? So same thing with the Shaolin sword strike. All this writing, okay, which is in the Restricting Wing Chun. I purposely make one picture of the ancient, one of the in the today's. One of the ancient, one of today's, so that you can see that is traditional Chinese martial art. And here is Shaolin sword strike. So, this is what really went wrong for past 100 years. And this is a reality we need to know. So, many will not like what I'm saying here today. Now think about it. If you like traditional Chinese martial art, do you want to keep preaching your fantasy? Where you have no idea what is traditional Chinese martial art? Do you want to mislead the people who are following you? And call it, this martial virtue. This is traditional Chinese martial art from my grandmaster. While in here I show you what is exactly the real thing, which is the in black and white the ancient is talking about. So now we have a reality, traditional Chinese martial art, the reality of Wing Chun, and there's a reality which is we live in the same world with the MMA, our BJJ friend, our Muay Thai friend, our judo friend, our wrestling friend, east or west, past or today or present or future. And there's a fantasy. I call it Chinese fantasy. Those are not Chinese martial art. Chinese fantasy, you can call it Chinese fantasy recreations. So Chinese fantasy recreation is never the real traditional Chinese martial arts. Get that thing straight, okay? So this is what I'd like to share with you today. Many, I know that will not like it. But this is a channel for the culture. Nobody have the right to screw up the Chinese martial art culture or Wing Chun culture. And again, I'm not saying that I know it all, I'm the grandmaster, you have to come to bow to me. I'm not. I just say that how difficult is this to read the book? The book is always there. Under the Shaolin Sword Strike book, which is now translated here, every one of us in the West know what it is. This is the Qi Guang, and it is inside this book too. So in Restricting Wing Chun, you can see what is the reality. The Chinese martial art never say, I want to stand there, push my hand, or using my energy, or doing my techniques, this. In fact, in the Shaolin Sword Strike, you can read in the Restricting Wing Chun, it is always moving. If you cannot get it, you have to move away to get it from different angle. It's just like if I try to pick somebody, okay, I have to set him up to pick him, and I have to walk away when I pick him. If I cannot pick him, I'm already out. I'm not going to go standing there, I'm going to take down you. See, it's true or not? Try to pick, get in here, he's going to change here, I pick it out, in the same time I go this way. So, this is all the technical details. when one no longer have this momentum, uniqueness, the technical details, the setup, the change, preparations, the functional training, there is no martial arts. Let's not kid ourselves.